Hey everyone, welcome to Science Guru. Today we're going to be looking at how to find information on the periodic table from each individual box. So the periodic table right here is an extremely important tool in chemistry that we use for finding out everything about an element. So, for starters, today our example is going to be the element oxygen. Now, everyone knows what oxygen is. We breathe it every single day. It's a super important element. And you'd think it's extremely important to also know how to find everything about each and every one of these elements, which is why we're here today. So, right here, this 15.999 in oxygen's box indicates that oxygen has an atomic mass of 15.999 units. Next, we have oxygen's name, obviously, which is pretty important. It tells us what element it is. Now, sometimes the periodic table will have too small print, or it'll be too small to put in the element's name, which is when you have to rely on the element's atomic symbol. Now, in this case, oxygen's atomic symbol is an O. An atomic symbol is either one or two letter symbol where the first letter is capitalized and not the second letter. And it's almost like a snowflake in which that no two atomic symbols are the same. It's like how every state has a postal code. Every element on the periodic table has its own atomic symbol, which makes it easier to figure out which element it is. And as you can see here, there are a ton of atomic symbols. So it's really important to know which atomic symbol goes with which element, since they're pretty easy to get confused. Now, we come to the atomic number. Now, the atomic number is pretty important when looking at the composition of the atom itself because it tells you the number of protons in the atom's nucleus and the number of electrons that the atom has, at least in a stable atom. So, in the oxygen atom, you're going to have 8 electrons and 8 protons. Now, what is an electron and what is a proton? Well, let's assume this right here is an atom. So you're going to have just a clump of things as the nucleus. And you're going to have an electron orbiting it, or several electrons orbiting it. Now, that's not quite how it works, but we will cover the specifics of that in another video. So right here is the nucleus of the atom, where you're going to have both protons and neutrons. Protons and neutrons. So in atoms, protons, neutrons, and electrons are pretty much what makes up an atom. So you're going to have your protons, which are objects with a positive charge. You're going to have electrons with negative charge. And you have neutrons. Can you guess what charge neutrons have? Yep, they are neutral, as their name would suggest. Now, the composition of an atom is very important, especially when you get into things like isotopes. But for now, we're just going to stick with what we have right here.